What up, what up, what up? I'm not a back it up and get it not wholesale shit. If I want to, I can flip a block. Auntie just called, she said she at the crib, break a rock, a couple more sales around the corner. What's good, what's good, what's good? We back in this motherfucker. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Peace, 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 peace. What's going on, what's going on, what's going on? What up, what up, what's going on, sister? What's going on in the D? I'm fucking with that Dex Osama if you didn't know. So shout out to Detroit already. We're gonna get some readings going on. We're gonna see what the deal is. Also got my other deck. We're gonna try this out too. So I'm pretty already familiar with this, but I'm gonna see what's up with this right here. So I'm getting lazy with the titles. Nah, it's only for certain people at this point. That's all it is, just for certain people. If you want shit with titles, I got hundreds of videos with titles. This is just me. I'm just you got to be on a certain level to understand this at this point. I'm not going back. I already talked about the basics. I spent my earlier years, I talked about the basics already. Now everything's advanced. So if you ain't on the frequency, then you will never even see the video. That's where it's at. You know, when you deal with the occult, you really deal with the occult. When it's not about fame, it's not about the money, it's not about me trying to be something else. You feel me? This is strictly for the occult. This is strictly for motherfuckers who understand what I'm talking about. You know? Let me turn this down a little bit, it's probably too loud. And we gonna get started. We'll turn this down a little bit, we can get it started. Reveal some Masonic secrets or how to guide the Gothic or the Goetia mind. Hold on. Alright, hold on, let me get this camera right. When it comes to Masonry, if you want the secrets of Masonry to be revealed to you, whatever that means to you, chant the number 322. Chant 322. 322 adds up to the number 7. Obviously, you know 322 is what? The skull and bones, right? Everybody should be familiar with the skull and bones. That's the frequency they use. So if you want to tap into the Masonic secrets, use the frequency of 322. Chant that in your mind as you go about your day and see what's revealed to you. Another thing you can do is work with the deity Baron Samedi or Sydney or whatever. Samedi. I already talked about him. So that's the deity for the Masons. So if you a Mason or you want to know anything, you want to know about anything Masonic, work with that deity. Baron Samedi or Samedi. Samedi. Fuck with that dude. So that's all for all you Mason heads. You fuck with him. Turn this down a little bit. Like all these songs is like different volumes. Alright, here we go. Now, for this time, we're going to do it like we've been doing it. I'm going to do this at least 10 times. Alright? So this all with no titles. There's no titles. I'll title this later. I'm gonna do about 5 more times. So it's gonna be about 10. So it's like a little series. It'll be a little series for those who are into the knowledge, for those who give a fuck, for those who are thinking a little bit more advanced, who tired of hearing all this basic shit, right? That's why we're gonna bring in the tarot and we're gonna speak straight to spirit. So we're gonna see what's going on in the ethers. Right? Like I said, shout out to Dex Osama, shout out to Detroit. That's the energy we fucking with right now. Trying to get this camera good. Y'all probably see this cord. So you have a little kid in the house, this is what happens. You have these little kids, they like to bite on stuff, so let me get this camera right. Alright, so we're gonna get to this reading, we're gonna see what's up right now. If the music is too loud, let me know. If you want me to turn it up, let me know, so everything can be heard clearly. And we're gonna get started. Just make sure everything is good. Alright, here we go. So what's been on everybody's mind? I know what's been on my mind. We're going to talk about it. But before we get into that, what's been on everybody's mind? What everybody been tuned into? If anything at all. Well, let's see what's going on in the ethers. Let's see what cards come up. We start off with this deck. We'll go into the other deck. What up, what up, what up? You say you need to get married? Well, what's stopping you from getting married? I guess we'll fuck with that. For all the people, what up, what up, what up? For all the people that I guess for love and relationships. For everybody who, I guess I haven't talked about that in a while, love and relationships. So I'll draw about 3 cards. For love and relationships, for those who may need assistance in that area, these are things that you could be able to do to assist in that process. So the first card, you make sure everything's good. All right. Ace of Swords. When it comes to the Ace of Swords, whenever we talk about the Suit of Swords, when it comes to the tarot, we're dealing with the mind. We're dealing with the intellect. So the Ace of Swords, as you see, it's the swords up in the clouds, right? So this is the beginning of manifestation when it comes to their thought forms. Or in other words, this is the manifestation before the actual physical manifestation. So this is a thought, the seed of a thought more so. This is the seed of a thought. So when it comes to love and relationships, what does this have to do with love and relationships? So if I'm pulling the Ace of Swords or the Ace of any suit, again, this is the manifestation before the physical manifestation. So if we're talking about the genesis, the beginning of thoughts, the beginning of what's going on in the mental plane, you know. When it comes to this, because if we look at the sword, you see it's 2 crescents. It's the lower crescent and it's the upper crescent. So it's dealing with lunar energy. So first things first, whenever it comes to relationships, things are like that, work with lunar energy. Work with lunar energy. See, most of the time when it comes to lunar energy, you know, it's terms like, you know, lunatic, you know, illusions, all these things that may not always be positive. You know, your mind is playing tricks on you, so on and so forth. So when it comes to the Ace of Swords, when it comes to that lunar energy, this is talking about energy from the perspective of the feminine, obviously, right? So the Ace of Swords, what are you thinking about mentally when it comes to relationships? So this is pretty much telling you to check your thought forms. You know, do you have a pessimistic view of relationships, or are you looking at relationships from a position of power? What do I mean by that? When you look at relationships from a position of power, you're not bringing any baggage into the relationship. You're not bringing anything to the relationship other than pure energy. What do I mean by that? You know, we all go through relationships, you know, breakups, all these things. And sometimes we can carry those things into future relationships, whether it be a personal relationship, a business relationship, any type of relationship. So the Ace of Swords is just a reminder to have a clean slate at all times. Because again, it's the intimate relationships, the friendships, the business relationships, so on and so forth. You always want to approach each situation with a clear mind, not allowing the past to influence the future. Even if the past was fucked up, the future can be as bright as the stars if you want to, right? We go to the second card. Victory. Six of Wands. When it pertains to victory and the Six of Wands, when we deal with the Suit of Wands, we're dealing with fire, we're dealing with desires, right? On the surface. So the Six of Wands, victory is dealing with, I'm going to give you another look at the card. As you see, this is Jupiter, the symbol of Jupiter, and the symbol of Leo. So this is a fusion of Jupiter and Leo. So what does Jupiter and Leo have in common? What type of energy or synergy comes together when they work together? Jupiter helps expand your mind and your creativity, while Leo is more so about, your self-reflection or how you feel about yourself. When you think about Leos, you think about people with confidence, people with, high self-esteem, high energy. It's a fire sign, so always on the move, go-getting type of people, right? So when it comes to the fire, to have this victory in the relationships, approaching every relationship with a clear frame of mind, the victory comes from expanding, that's the Jupiter element, expanding what? Your self-knowledge. Now, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by expanding your self-knowledge? When you approach every situation with a clear state of mind, now you can really think. When you approach situations thinking about things that may have happened before, things that may have happened in the past, it clouds up your thoughts. Once you're able to clearly think and you're able to take every situation based on what's going on in the moment, based on your intuition, this is how you get in tune with your intuition. You have to just be truly in the moment. You can't bring anything else into the moment other than what's going on in that exact moment, because every moment is unique. So with that state of mind, every moment is unique. Every mind connects with other minds in a unique way. So approaching it from that state of mind, the victory comes in from expanding your self-awareness. When you expand your self-awareness, meaning just awareness of not just who and what you are, but your whole self. Who you are consciously, who you are subconsciously, who you are on the God realm, and who you are on the cardinal realm. What do I mean? Your God, your devil, your angel, and your demon. Right? That's why we talk about the number 6. 666, number of the devil, all that stuff. The reason why 6 is associated with the devil or feminine energy is because when you think about a 6, when you draw a 6, you're going from the out to the end. So you start from an outward point and you go in. Whereas with the 9, you go from an inward point and you expand outward. When you go from an outward point and you expand inward, it's talking about manifesting from the outside within. What does that mean? Not the outside in terms of the physical reality. That's the outside of your self-awareness. In other words, one more time, the victory comes from expanding. That's the Jupiter. The Jupiter brings the energy of expansion, and the Leo brings the energy of self-knowing, self-confidence, creativity, so on and so forth. The energy of the number 1, the energy of the sun. Right? So expanding your knowledge of who and what you are on a complete level, by first clearing your mind, guarantees you victory in all your relationships. Now we'll give it one more reading, one more card, and we'll go from there. defeat, right? You may have seen this card before with the broken rose petals, with the upside down, the inverted pentagram, brother, right? Because we were just talking about the devil, right? The inverted pentagram. The 5 of swords. So we had the Ace of Swords. Now we have the 5 of Swords. What's the difference? The difference is, why is this defeat? Defeat is coming from, as I was just explaining, the past. If you don't clear out the past, right? This is the inevitable, the defeat. So the difference between victory and defeat all comes down to this. You clearing your mind. You having no thought prior to the exact thought of that moment. Keeping your mind clear and keeping your mind focused in the moment. That's the difference between victory and defeat. Just real simple stuff, right? So that's for those who may be looking for love and relationship, just in any type of, whether it's intimate, business relationship, or just friendship. So that's just a quick little gem from the spirits. And let's move on. I want to show y'all this. Now, what is this? This is a unicruxal or unicursal hexagram. Now, what is that? This is one of the shapes that you can draw in one continuous motion. So for all my magicians out there, for all the people who have done things like the lesser banishing ritual, you know, who have done actual rituals to banish out all energy so that you can work a ritual, because that's why you would do something like a lesser banishing ritual. You have the lesser banishing ritual, then you have the greater banishing ritual. All right. Let's see. I've been able to manifest a bunch of stuff watching your old videos. Thank you. Salute. You know what I mean? Afro Pick. Salute to you. Soaking up the game. I'm glad it was useful to you. Stay tuned. Now getting back to this. When you were doing rituals, especially the lesser banishing ritual, you draw shapes in the air for each element. For those who don't know nothing about it, just Google lesser banishing ritual if you want more background. But every direction has an element. The north is earth, the west is water, the east is wind, and the south is fire. Right? The 4 elements, the 4 directions. So each direction has an element. So when you face a certain direction, you start at the east. When you're doing this ritual, as an example, you start at the east. So you start with the wind. And you go not counterclockwise, but you go clockwise. So you go east, north, west, south. So when you go to the east, there is a wind. You say, because you're drawing a triangle or a shape. Let's just say you draw a star. And each star has a certain shape. Or you start at a certain point. In other words, I know I'm kind of making it confusing, but I'm going to wrap it all up. So, let's just say, for example, for the fire star, when you face in the south, to banish out all the fire energy, let's just say you would start at the bottom point of the star. So think of a 5-pointed star, and you just start at the bottom right-hand corner, and you draw the star from that angle. So it'll be this way, right? So you start at the point, go to the left, go to the right, boom, boom, boom. That's how you draw the star. So that'll be if you're facing the south. Now, if you're facing the east, you may start at the left. Then you have to go down, then around, then boom, boom, boom. So you get the point. So depending on which direction you're facing is depending on which point you will start from when you draw the star. So for example, if it's the east, you start at the left. If it's the west, you start at the right. If it's the south, you start at the bottom. If it's the north, you start at the top. Now, these are not exact directions, just as an example. Now, how does this tie into this? With these shapes that you can draw in one direction, let's just say you're doing a ritual, you draw the star, boom, you banish it, you send your hands through the star. And again, if you never did the ritual, you may not be able to comprehend what I'm saying. But the point of you doing a banishing ritual is it clears your sacred space of any energy, positive or negative. You start with a clean slate. Hold on, let me say, clear this out real quick. Okay. You start with a clean slate. So when you start with a clean slate, you don't have no energies, no god, no goddess, no nothing. It's you banishing all energy and you start from scratch. What I mean by you start from scratch is you banish everything, all energies, and you slowly bring them back in. So let's just say you want to work strictly with the fire energy. You will do the lesser banishing ritual, clear all energies, then you would do a ritual to invoke fire directly. So now, let's just say you're in your room and you invoke the energy of fire. Now, your thoughts would be more surrounded with desires or the fire element, right? And you can do this for any element. Now, why would somebody want to do this again? You clear your sacred space so that you can have channels. So for all the people that want to talk to spirits, for all the people that want to channel, for all the people who want to really do real spiritual work, who want to astral travel, who want to have conversations with deities and all this stuff, it's inevitable that you have a clean, clear space on a physical level and an energy level. So before you go to bed, you should be clearing your space. You should be sleeping with water above your head. The water helps your the energy. It absorbs the energy, so it makes your sight more vivid in the dream world when you sleep with water above your head. You can also sleep with crystals above your head. If you have crystals dedicated to the third eye or the crown chakra or the throat chakra, you can have crystals above your head like you're wearing a crown. Set crystals above your head so that you can pull the energy of those crystals into yourself so that it makes you more active in the dream world. Now, there's other things you can do, such as they call them triggers. Let's just say you are in a dream and you feel yourself waking up. There are several things you can do to keep yourself, in the dream world, such as spin around in a circle, and it'll restabilize the dream. Now, the reason I'm talking about all this spiritual dream work is because currently I'm working with the energy of the number 7. Because I'm working with the energy of the number 7, this is pretty much provoking me to go deeper into the abyss or the waters. Because when we're dealing with the number 7, obviously we're dealing with K2, or we're dealing with the dark side of the moon, or we're dealing with the most spiritual number, the number 7. When we're dealing with the number 7, obviously, the difference between the number 7 and the number 2, because the number 2 is the number of the moon, whereas the number 7 is the dark side of the moon. What's the difference? The difference is when you deal with a raw 2, if you're dealing with pure 2 energy or pure lunar energy, it's more of a positive thing. You're going to be more in tune with your emotions, more in tune with your intuition. It's like your life becomes like an R&B song type thing. Like you start to hear all these R&B songs or this softer music. You just go into that pure feminine state. Whereas with the number 7 is, you can say the same as the number 2, it's just more morbid. It's more sinister. It's more darker. That's why it's called the dark side of the moon. So you don't really see, let's just say, fairies and all the positive stuff. Like a number 2 house would be very comfortable. It's a type of house where you, like, for the homebodies out there, people who like to stay in the house and, Netflix and be with their kids or whatever. Number 2 is like a real good energy to be, you know, a family orientated energy. Whereas a number 7 is like a library where you're more so alone, although you may have other people in the house, but you will be by yourself. So it's more like a solitude type energy because you're going deeper into the depths of your own self. So whatever stresses you may have starts to lessen because now you're not so caught up in your chest, now you're not so caught up in your heart, now you're not so caught up in the physical. If you feel like you're too caught up in the physical, you're a little bit too deep into the matrix. You need some time to detach and pull out and take a break for a while. Not that you're actually taking a break, but you want to shift your thoughts to be a little bit more spiritual and a little bit more otherworldly and less of this world. You thinking more spiritually, then work with the energy of the number 7, whether you change your house number, whether you chant 777, or as I said earlier, 322, you know, 3 plus 2 plus 2 is 7. So any type of variation or combination that adds up to the number 7 will work good for these situations. So again, all the people that are looking to go deeper into the dreams, going deeper into, you know, communication with spirits, communication with the ancestors, whatever telepathy, whatever spiritual exercise you're trying to exercise and get more fluid in, that's why you work with the energy of the number 7, which is also why I brought out my other tarot deck. It's called the Crows deck. And we also know the crows are the gatekeepers. For those who don't know, look up crow animal totem. And when you look up crow animal totems, you will get all the secret information, all the mystic information about how mystic and spiritual the crows are. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shuffle up this deck. I'm going to draw a couple cards, and we're going to see what the crow spirit has to say. And I'm going to put on some music. Not sure why the music stopped, but I'm going to put on some more music. So if the feed stops, I'll be right back within a matter of seconds. So if I get kicked off, whatever, because I'm just going to change the music, just come right back in the room, and we're going to get right back to it. So let me take care of that right now as I'm shuffling up this deck. All right, give me 1 second here. Again, if I get kicked out, just come right back in, and we'll go from there. All right, we back in this motherfucker. Okay, so let's see what the crows have to say about what's going on in the ethers right now. Now, I haven't used this deck in quite some time. I'm bringing it out for this special occasion. Yo, peace. What up, Green Revolution? I'm bringing it out for this special occasion. I may bring it out again. Y'all just let me know if y'all prefer this deck or you prefer the Thoth deck. I'm more thorough with the Thoth deck, but we'll see what this deck is. We'll see how my skills is when it comes to this. So let's see. We'll pull 3 cards, and we'll see what the crows have to say, and we'll go from there. So, first card. Oh, I think it's upside down. No, it isn't. The 3 of Cups. So, 3 of Cups. So, obviously, if you see right here, this is Pisces. Right? 3 of Cups is fruition, realization. Right? Now, when we're dealing with the Suit of Cups, we're dealing with emotions. We're dealing with chemical reactions in the bloodstream. Right? So, when the 3 of Cups comes up, and we know that number 3 is Jupiter once again. Right? And Jupiter is all about expansion, whether it's creative expansion or expansion through spiritual exercises or travel. You know, the number of the guru number, right? So since we're dealing with the energy of Pisces, which is a mutable water sign, And let's turn this down a little bit. Since we're dealing with Pisces, which is a mutable water sign, and if you don't know what that means, that just means that it's a flexible water sign. So you have mutable signs, you have fixed signs, you have cardinal signs. Cardinal signs is like the fresh, new energy, like Cancers, Aries, the fresh spark of energy. The fixed signs are like the Scorpios and the Leos, which is more so like a presence thing. It's about preservation and preserving the culture, so on and so forth. Then you have mutable signs like Pisces, Virgo, and Gemini, which can take on the form of many different energies all at once. For example, if you're dealing with Cancer, just think about a waterfall. A waterfall pushing down fresh waters. When you think about Scorpio, think about like a still lake, a lake that has still waters. And when you think about Pisces, think about rivers and streams that has a bunch of different avenues it can take to get to its destination. So since we're dealing with Pisces, we're dealing with the energy of the water, taking many different paths. Somebody asked, what will Taurus be? Taurus is a fixed earth sign. So a fixed earth sign, which is the opposite sign of Scorpio. So when you're dealing with a fixed earth sign, you're dealing with, that's why the Taurus represents Venus, the planet of beauty. So when you think about Taurus people are real earthy people, real, if it's not physical beauty, it's aesthetic beauty, meaning, the makeup and the hair and all that. They are very beautiful people. They know how to make themselves beautiful. They know how to speak beautiful words and, very materialistic people. They like to be comfortable. They like to enjoy life. So that energy is definitely, it's the house. Taurus deals with the second house. And the second house is the house of possessions. It's about the thing that you have. Not necessarily your physical things that you have, but your spiritual attributes or your spiritual possessions. So whenever you want to tap into Taurus, and you want to tap into your possessions, your spiritual possessions, the thing that you always have, then you can use the word shring. Use the mantra shring. When you use the mantra shring, S-H-R-I-N-G, S-H-R-I-N-G, shring, like ring, shring. Shring connects you with the energy of Taurus or the planet Venus. So it'll help you bring more beautiful experiences into your life. Same thing with clean. But clean is more so about relationships in Libra. That's more so, it's still Venus. The planet Venus rules Libra and Taurus. So if you more so want to go with the Libra energy about, building up relationships and networks and connecting with people, that's more so clean. K-L-E-E-M. That's more so clean. I've talked about that mantra a bunch of times. But if you want to deal more so with like the money aspect, your money's hidden treasures and hidden monies and ideas and things that have to have something to do with sustaining your well-being, you tap into the energy of Taurus by chanting shring. Or studying the second house. Type in Taurus, the second house. Study the second house. See if you have any Taurus in your astrology chart. But again, we are all 12 or 13 zodiacs. So even if you don't have Taurus in your actual chart, you can always tap into the energy of Taurus. Or you may have a planet in the second house. So let's just say your sun may be in Gemini, but it may be in the second house. So if your sun is in Gemini in the second house, it's in the house of Taurus. You get what I'm saying? Is shring better than shreem? It's just two different cultures. Shreem comes from the Hindu or the Indian culture, and shreem comes from the Egyptian culture. So you can say, yes, it is a similar word with a similar energy. Shreem and shring are essentially, they help you do the same thing. However, depending on your DNA, depending on what culture you feel connected with or what culture you're actually connected with, you will have different results. So I encourage everybody to utilize shring and shreem and see which one has better results for you personally. Because some people may have better results using the one or the other, just depending on what you feel drawn to, right? So let's go to the second card. So the first card was the 3 of Cups. Cups is dealing with the emotions. We're dealing with the number 3. We're dealing with the planet Jupiter. We're dealing with expansion. So the message from the crows, the first message is fruition, realization. What are you materializing? You know, fruition and realization is like manifesting or materializing something. What is it that you're materializing? Let's go to the second card and get further insight into what's being said here. Second card. Let me turn it over this way. Boom. Oh, this is okay. The 10 of Swords. Black, clouded, right? So with this card, you see you got the bird in the middle, and they're locked up with the swords. Because again, remember, when we talk about the suit of swords, we're talking about the mental, the mind, the intellect. So we're talking about a black or clouded intellect or mind. This comes from overthinking, from overstressing, from doing a little bit too much of something, whatever that something may be. Now, what does this have to do with the previous card? So what does this have to do with this? What are you realizing? What are you bringing into existence? What are you bringing into life? That's coming out clouded. And I look at this as what makes some of our manifestations clouded, what makes some of our energy scattered, what makes some of our thoughts not as powerful or not as emotionally charged as they should be, is being too connected to this physical plane. Right? What do I mean by that? When you're too attached to this physical plane, it's easy to think that this is all there is. See, this is the thing. This is another reason why I encourage people to work with the energy of the number 7, because this shows you just how otherworldly we really are. If you really want to know who we are as spiritual beings, we know what we are as human beings, right? As human beings, we've studied the human body. We know everything that's going on, right? But when it comes to being a spiritual being and what you can do with your spirit, once you leave your body behind, whether it's dreaming or whether it's death, whichever one, what you can do as a spiritual being can only be experienced in the spiritual realm, or the realm of the dreams, or your subconscious mind, once your body is relaxed and resting, or you leave behind your body at the moment of death. But to further reiterate this card, when these manifestations come out cloudy or come out black, but again, we're starting off with the 3. Expanding your emotional state. Because remember, 3 is Jupiter, expansion, in the cups. So this is talking about expanding your emotional state. Why is it talking about expanding your emotional state? Because as you expand your emotional state, it starts to clear out all this extra nonsense. What do I mean by that? When you start to build up your emotional energy, meaning you feel good, not because you feel good, because you make yourself feel good. Not because you feel good because you got the perfect life, but you know how to get yourself into a good mood. You know how to get yourself into the mood you want to be in. Whereas your life is not controlled by external circumstances. You know how to make yourself get right. You know how to be on point. So the outside doesn't really affect you as much because you have enough mental capacity to be in control of how you feel, how other people make you feel, how you respond to other people's, reactions and energy towards you, the energy exchange. All these things are within our hands. We can consciously manipulate and control all these things that we feel. Because when we feel anything, emotions are just chemicals being secreted into our bloodstream by certain glands that we call chakras, right? So it's chemicals being secreted into the bloodstream. that makes you feel mad, that makes you feel good, that makes you feel horny, that makes you feel depressed, so on and so forth. These are just a combination of chemicals being secreted into the bloodstream. So when we see cars like this is just letting you understand or letting you know that because emotions can get out of control at times, when we go through our exploration, emotions can potentially get out of control. So this is just letting us know that don't let your emotions get out of hand so that your judgment becomes cloudy. Because when you are manifesting your thoughts, when you are emotionally charging up your thoughts and making your thoughts more electric and more magnetic, there's a possibility that your judgment can get clouded because you don't really know what's going on. You don't really understand the body. This is why it's important to know how the body works on a physical level as well as a spiritual level. So when we do talk about the chakras, it's good to know about the glands as well. It's good to know about the bloodstream. It's good to know chemistry. You know, it's good to know what type of things are secreted into the bloodstream and has certain type of reactions. That's why we get into the drugs and all that, the DMT, the LSD, the THC. All these are chemicals. And depending on what combination of chemicals you have in your body is going to lead to a certain effect. So whenever we feel some type of way, it's based on chemical reactions, based on how we feel about whatever external circumstance or internal circumstance we may be going through. So we're going to draw one last card. I think somebody asked a question. Where can I read up on the mantras? Is there a book? I practice Kundalini meditations and chants, but I want a step-by-step guide. There are so many meditations. If you want to study mantras, first choose a tradition that you want to study from. Choose a tradition, whether it's the Tibetan tradition, the Dravidian tradition, the Egyptian tradition, the Native American tradition, or Aztec, the Mayan, the African, whatever. Choose a tradition that you resonate with. And once you decide on a tradition that you resonate with, study the language of that tradition. Because mantras are just words of power, right? Mantras are words of power. So the words of power are going to be within the language of whichever culture that you study. So once you make a decision on which culture you want to study, you have to study the language. So for example, for the people that study the Kabbalah, the language they study is Hebrew. You may not necessarily be able to fluently speak Hebrew or read Hebrew, but as long as you understand how to break it down, you can still uncover those secrets. For example, you know when you speak or you understand Hebrew, there's 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. You know, as I showed with the tarot cards, you know, you have certain Hebrew. I'll just show you right now, just to give you an example, just in case you didn't see it. So, for example, this is the tower, and this has a Hebrew letter. This is associated with a Hebrew letter, right there. This is the moon. This is associated with a certain Hebrew letter, right here. Right? And so on and so forth. Each of the 22 trumps, or the 22 major cards, or the 22 major arcana, or the secrets, these resonate with Hebrew letters. And each Hebrew letter has a secret meaning. It also has a numerology code to every letter. Every letter has a numerology code, and every letter has a secret meaning. So when you start combining these letters together, formulating the Hebrew language, you have what's being said to you, but you also have what's not being said to you, but what's being vibrated towards you, based on what's going on a subconscious level. In other words, let's just say somebody greets you in Hebrew. You have whatever the greeting word for Hebrew is, you have that word. But once you take that word and you break down the word based on letters, each letter, and you have an overall number to it, then you can get a secret meaning. For example, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, I'll give you an example with the English language. If you have been watching my previous videos, I talk about things like supreme mathematics and supreme alphabets. I'll give you an example. So, let's just say with the word manifest. M-A-N-I-F-E-S-T. Manifest. If you break down the word manifest using the codes of the alphabet, meaning M is 14, A is 1, N, not M, hold on. Let me get this correct. M is the 13th letter, A is the first letter, N is the 14th letter, I is the 9th letter, F is the 6th letter, E is the 5th letter, S is the 19th letter, and T is the 20th letter. When you add up all those and you reduce it to a single digit, you're going to get the number 6, which is the planet of Venus. Right? So, now you have two ways to do this. I'm trying not to make this complicated, but again, this is advanced. And this is a little bit too complicated. Just watch the previous videos and catch up. So, what do I mean? So now let's go into supreme alphabets. Because we did supreme mathematics is what you use to break down the letters. But supreme alphabets is the attributes of each letter. So for example, each letter has a word attached to it. And that word can be used to reveal a hidden meaning. Now, for example, manifest. So as I said, you break down manifest, you're going to get the number 6, or the planet Venus. However, you have, what is it, manifest, what is it, 4, you got 8 letters. And the word manifest, you have 8 letters. Each of those 8 letters represent a certain attribute, because M is a certain attribute, A is a certain attribute, N is a certain attribute, so on and so forth. So although it breaks down to the number 6, you have these individual letters that combine together to make that number 6. That's what I mean by there's many paths to these numbers. So just because it breaks down to the number 6, there's many, many ways to get to the number 6. So the path that manifest takes to get to number 6 is M-A-N-I-F-E-S-T. Or if we use supreme mathematics, what is M? M represents master. What is A? A represents Allah, which is a name for God in Islam. N represents now or in, meaning do it now or forever hold your peace. I is obviously I, like I or you. F is father. E is equality. S is self. T is truth. Those are codes, right? I'll go through it one more time. M is master. A is a law. N, the letter N, is now or in. I is I. F is father. E is equality. S is savior. T is truth. Again, if you don't follow me, just look up supreme mathematics and look up supreme alphabet, and this is how you piece it together using the English language. So the same way I'm using the English language to piece together, so I'm using the numerology codes as well as the attributes of the letters. The same, you would use the same technique if you was trying to decode the Hebrew language or the Egyptian language or whatever language, right? Islamic language, Arabic, same thing, right? So this is the esoteric way of decoding the words. So, getting back to manifest. So how would you put all that together? So we know the attributes of each letter. How would you put this into a story form? How does all this stuff make sense? All this stuff makes sense because we do it like this. Let's start with the first 3 letters of manifest. M-A-N. Master, Allah, now, or end. Now, what does that mean? Master, Allah, now, or end. Now, let's break that down. So master Allah now or in. So what is that telling you on the subconscious level? On the subconscious level, it's telling you to master Allah now. Allah is you, God, your divine self, the supreme being, the supreme intelligence, right? So master, M. M is master, A is Allah, N is now or in. So master self now or forever hold your peace. In other words, right? So it's telling you to master yourself right now in the moment. Don't wait till tomorrow or next week or when your money is right or when your relationship is right or when the stars align. You know, we can make an excuse for anything, right? So it's telling you to master yourself right now and make no excuses. Do what you must right now in the moment. That's M-A-N, master Allah now or forever hold your peace. So those are the first three letters. But now we still got I-F-E-S-T. Now what is that? Let's break that down. So what is the I? The I is I, the F is father, E is equality, S is self, T is truth. So let's go with the I. So you got master Allah, now we're in, master self, in the moment, right now, no excuses, no holding back. Go in with a heavy hand or go in with your all, right? I, right? Master Allah now I. So master Allah now I, again, is just giving you more emphasis of that's you. Master yourself. Master Allah now I. Meaning you. Right? Master Allah now I. That means me. Now you got F-E-S-T. Father equality, self truth. Father equality. What is that? What is the father of equality? What is equality? Equality is the law. Right? Equality is the law. Father, obviously, is a father. You can say a life giver or a life bringer. Right? Somebody who gives another person life. See, father isn't necessarily just the person that created a baby. Right? So don't look at father as somebody who created a baby. Just look at the father as somebody who can give life to somebody else. Because even if somebody may not be your father, but they still can inspire life into you. That's really what a father is. Somebody who can inspire life into, who can bring you to life. Who can awaken those hidden talents within you. Who can see things within you that you can't see within yourself. Who can see the light within you and knows how to help bring that light out of you. That's a father. Right? So you got father equality. And again, equality is law and order. So father, somebody who's able to see light within somebody and bring it out of them. Then equality is setting something in motion, setting the law in motion. So bringing the light out of somebody, which will set forth the equality. So bringing the light, the father, bringing the light out of somebody, which will set in motion the equality or the law and order within them, or the natural occurrence of divine law within them. By being a father, you're able to wake up the equality within a person. And what is the equality that you wake up within a person? Self, truth. The S and the T, self, truth. So what is that? What are you waking up within a person that's bringing about this law and order? Self, truth. That's what you are waking up by being that father, waking up somebody, self, truth. So, we just took a regular word like manifest that we all use, or you should use, or you have used in the past. And we've taken that word, now we have extra information that was not revealed on the surface. Because normally we think about manifest, you're thinking about, bringing something from within yourself into the outside. but you don't really, everybody has a different process. But if you follow the process I just laid out for you, you see that it reveals to you how to manifest within the actual word itself. So although we know manifest breaks down to the number 6, but when you use supreme alphabets, master, Allah, now, I, Father, equality, self, truth, as I just broke down, that reveals to you the secrets of how to manifest. And it's giving you the energy that manifestation comes through, which is the planet Venus, which is the physical number. Right? Because before you get to the 7, you got to go through the 6. When you get to the 7, that's going into the spiritual realm. 7, 8, and 9 is going into the spirit realm. 4, 5, and 6 is the spiritual realm. And 1, 2, and 3 is the metaphysical or the quantum realm. So 4, 5, and 6 represents the physical world. So once you master the physical world, the 4, 5, and the 6, you go into the spiritual world. You're able to see the spiritual world. But before you're able to see the spiritual world, you're going to see all of this physical world first. Because before you even have an interest or a spark in spirituality, you got to see what's going on here first. You got to see what's going on here to know that there's more to see, there's more to do, there's more to learn, there's more places to travel in your mind. But you got to see what your limitations are here first. So they say, can I break down manifest one more time? Absolutely, because I understand that this is advanced. So I'll do it one more time. But once you get it, again, you may need to watch the video a couple times, or you may just need to look the information up yourself. But once you get it, you can apply this to any English word, and you can get the true essence of what every word means, because now you're able to you're revealing the vibration or the planetary vibration it resonates with, and the path to get to that planetary vibration to get results. So now you have the path as well as the result, instead of just a result without having a path. So that's why you break down individual letters, and you don't just leave it at just what does this word break down to. So you know what number the word breaks down to, but you see you can take it a step further. And I'm going to go through it one last time, but I still need to draw one last card, because I was going to draw 3 cards to reveal the message. So I'm going to draw this one last card, and I'll go over that one last time before we wrap it up. Right? All right. So let's see what this last card has to say about the crow revealing information, through the tarot. So this is the last one. The Hanged Man, which is transcend, evolve. Essentially what we were just talking about, right? So, as you see on the side, the Scorpion or the Scorpio, the Cancer, and the Pisces. So when we see all 3, some cards have just one, some cards have all 3. This means this is a major card. This is one of the trumps, or one of the major arcana cards, right? So obviously this is dealing with water. The 3 water signs are dealing with water. So it's through the waters that you transcend and you evolve. Is through the waters. That's why I'm talking about the number 2 and the number 7, which number 7 is dark side of the moon and number 2 is the light side of the moon. But number 2 is still the moon. So your dreams, if you want to enhance your dreams, work with the number 2 or work with the number 7. It depends on if you want to do a more light, more comfortable, more sensual, more family orientated. That's number 2. More spiritual orientated, more otherworldly orientated, more ghosts. Number 7. Right? So let's put these cards together. So the message, the short message that the crow has to reveal today is manifestation, being clouded by the lack of evolution from the waters. And you see that he's upside down, which is talking about inversion. So for those of you who don't practice inversion, which is basically just standing on your head, the 5 Tibetan rites, which builds up your chi or your energy or your prana or your kundalini. This is why I talk about all these things, because you want to combine your spirituality with some form of exercise so that your body stays conditioned. When your body stays conditioned, you know, your body can stay up with how fast you can think. So when you think about something, and you can do it instantly, as opposed to you got to go through hills and mountains just to manifest something. You can do things instantly. If you can't activate something instantly, don't fuck with it. That's a message from the spirit. If you can't activate something instantly, don't fuck with it. So the same way you can hit up a mantra that activates that energy instantly. The same way you can chant numbers that activates that energy instantly. The same way you can work out and build up energy that activates it instantly. So if you can't activate energy instantly using a mantra, numerology, exercise, your spiritual studies, so that you retain information that you have access to, that you don't have to always pull out your notes. It's good to take notes in the beginning, but eventually you learn how to keep it up here. It's a skill. You learn the skill how to keep it up here, so you don't have to always take notes, because you may not always have access to those notes. So if you have something written down, but you're not able to use it in real time because it's not up here, it's back home in your notebook, and you don't remember what you wrote down. So you write it down to get familiar with it. You write it down so that you can remember. That's why you write things down. You write it down so that you can remember. It's easier to remember things after you already written it down. But eventually you take it off the paper and you be able to access it instantly. So this is why I took time to learn all this stuff in my head. So you don't ever see me with notes. You don't see me with notes, but I used to have notes. You look at my older videos, I had notes. So I'm not saying I was always like this, so you see the progress. I had to have notes at first, but then I just learned how to keep the information in my head, which is a mental thing. It's mental, but it's a process, because once you utilize the supreme mathematics and the supreme alphabet, you can use it to remember things. So the same way somebody has to write down notes and to put bullet points here, and okay, I want to talk about this, you can use those same techniques, just using a different form. So for example, let's just say you want to talk about something. You can break it down to a word or a numerology code. So for example, let's just say you want to talk about something, and you say, okay, I want to talk about, what I want to talk about resonates with the energy of the sun, Saturn, and Mercury. For example, what I want to talk about revolves around the sun, the Saturn, and Mercury, which is 1, 8, and 5. So if you want to remember your points, you're like, okay, 185. So as long as you remember 185, the sun, Saturn, and Mercury, you will remember all the ideas that are associated with the sun, Saturn, and Mercury, and you're able to break them down individually as well as collectively, and you can bring your point home. So you don't need to write down anything, because now you're using numerology codes to remember things. See, when you can break everything down to a numerological code or a planetary energy, when you can break everything down to a planetary energy or a numerology code or an alphabet, you can use that as a science to remember the information. Okay, that's linked with Venus, that's linked with Mars, that's linked with Mercury, that's linked with the moon, or that's linked with the number 1, that's linked with the number 5, that's linked with the number 7, that's linked with the number 3, so on and so forth. Mnemonics, exactly. Mnemonics is another word. Another way to put all this is mnemonics, and there's various ways to use mnemonics. Mnemonics is just one of the ways. Boom. So this was a message of the crow. Now I say it one more time. Now I go through how to break everything down one last time before I get up out of here. I'm not sure if this is gonna be the last video of the day, because I'm not sure. It's about, what is it, 11:30 right now? No, it's actually about to be 11. So I may give myself maybe 20-30 minute break, and I come back and talk about some other shit. But I wanted to get all the technical stuff out the way. All right. So again, manifestation through clouded judgment because of a lack of evolution and transcendence of the physical plane. So to me, it's telling everybody it's time to get into the spiritual aspect of life. Because again, we in November, we in the fall time. It's all about spiritual energy right now. You know, it's starting to get colder outside, so people are not really as active as they was like in the summer, so on and so forth. And it's going to get colder and colder. So as we begin to stay, you know, inside more and more, you're going to have more and more time to do these spiritual exercises because you're going to be in the house a lot more than you usually would be. All right? Okay. So let's break down this manifest word one last time, so everybody gets it. Okay, hold on. Shout out to you, Max. I see you. Gucci Gang. I don't know. I've been hearing that song all the time. My little nephew be listening to that shit. So shout out Gucci Gang. Alright, so let's break down manifest. So, the word manifest breaks down to the number 6, which is the number of Venus. I'll go through this process if you don't know that process. Alright? So, manifest. M-A-N-I-F-E-S-T. The word manifest that we're all familiar with breaks down to the number 6. How does it break down to the number 6? We'll go through it right now. M is the 13th letter. 1 plus 3 is 4. A is the first letter. So they get the 1 from the A plus the 4 from the M gets 5. Then you got N, which is the 14th letter. 1 plus 4 is 5. So you take that 5 plus the 5 that came from the M and the A, and you get 1. So 5 plus 5, 10. Take the 0 off, you get 1. I is 9, which goes back down. Which goes back to 1. 1 plus 9 goes back to 1. So now you got F-E-S-T. The F is 6. So you take the 6 from the F and the 1 from the previous letters, you get 7. 7 plus E, which is 5. So 7 plus 5, you get 3. Now you got S, which is 19 or 1. Alright? Now you got 4. 4 plus 2, because now you got T. T is 20. Take the 0 off, you got 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. Alright? There you go. So manifest breaks down to 6. 6 resonates with the energy of Venus. Now, that's supreme mathematics. Supreme alphabets gives you the attributes to the letters, which give you even deeper meaning. Now let's go through that one more time. Manifest in supreme alphabet language is master, Allah, knower end, I, father, equality, self, truth. One more time. Master, Allah, knower end, I, father, equality, self, truth. Now, where am I getting this from? If you type in supreme alphabets, it's going to give you an attribute to each letter. A is Allah, B is be or born, C is C, C-E-E, D is divine, E is equality, F is father, so on and so forth. God, G is God, H is he or her, so on and so forth. So each letter has attributes. Once you know the attribute of each letter, now you can put these attributes together to give you an overall scheme of what type of energy you work with. Now, master Allah now. Allah is God. Master yourself now. Not later, not 2 days from now, not a week, not when your shit's together, not when everything is in order. Right the fuck now. Master self now. I. Who is self? Self is I. Master Allah now I. So mastery of self right now, which is me. Not nothing outside of me. Not nothing on the side of me. Not nothing in front of me or the back of me. Me right here. The space that I take up. That's me. Master Allah now or end. I. Father equality. A father is somebody who can bring life out of a person. Equality is law and order. So bringing the light or bringing somebody to life, being able to see what they can't see and wake them up to their own truth. That's equality. You are setting in motion equality because that's what we all should do as, parents. This is what you should do for children. This is what you should do for your friends, your family, so on and so forth. What up? What's going on, Cybersexual? So, father equality. The father of law and order. The bringer or the giver or the light of law and order. Self-truth. Self-truth. So the father is bringing equality to what? The self-truth. The truth within the other person. Right? Hold on, what is this? Master Allah. Now. I, father, equality, self, truth. Now. One more time. Master, M, Allah, A, now or N, I, father, F, E, equality, S, self, T, truth. So, when I break that down, does that not break down to what manifest means? That is what manifestation is, right? So without me having to go to the dictionary and see what somebody else said manifestation is, now I have created my own definition of what manifest means, which is already in accordance with what it actually is. So it's not me making up a full definition for myself. It is staying in accordance to what manifest is. It's just giving me secret attributes of the letters, which gives me a deeper insight into what I'm actually saying and what is actually being said, whether it's to me or it's something that I'm saying. When you get deeper into these words, you start to choose your words a lot more carefully to see the type of effect it has on not only the people around you, but just on your entire universe. So, for example, if you wanted to connect with the energy of Venus more, you will start to use words that break down to the number 6 a lot more than usual if you want to channel in or invoke the energy of Venus. But this, as you start to break down words, you start to, get a memory data bank of what the words break down to. So, as you're going through your day, you break it down street names, you break it down store names, you break it down people's names. This is just a mental exercise that you can go through all day, every day. Just to get your mind sharp. You just breaking down everything, breaking it down, and you start to, okay, this word breaks down to this word breaks down to this, and eventually you start to remember what these words break down to. So whenever you want to work with a particular energy, now you can, if you want to do a ritual using this technique. Let's just say you do a ritual to channel the energy of Venus. Now, let's just say you gather 10 words that break down to number 6. And those 10 words that break down to number 6, you're like, okay, I'm going to write a petition to a particular deity or God or energy, and I'm going to use these 10 words that break down to number 6 to enhance the power of my ritual. Right? So, these are advanced secrets. Right? That's what makes this lifestyle magical. Because you can apply shit like supreme mathematics and supreme alphabet and all these esoteric studies and knowledge to basic shit. So we taking basic words that we all use anyway, and now you're able to get more data and more information on these words so that you can choose your words more carefully and you can use them in your magical rituals and rites to enhance whatever energy that you're working with. Right? Basic shit once you get a grasp of it all, right? So, I think that's pretty fitting. So I'm gonna take I think it's about to be 11:11. A couple minutes. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a break, maybe 10, 20, half an hour. I'm gonna come back with some other shit. Alright? So hopefully, those who were meant to see this and benefit from it, hopefully, just play this shit back. I know it was kind of a lot of information. Just play it back, play it as many times as you need to, grasp it, get the information, and work your magic. So I'll be back in a little bit. So for y'all who's coming back, I'll see y'all in a minute. For y'all who's tuned in, appreciate it. Definitely hit the like button if you already haven't. And I'll get it y'all a little bit later. Peace. Hotel. Get your magic up.